Okay, we'll get going here. Shelby County Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Call to order. Any conflicts, gentlemen?
No.
Okay. Consider approval of the agenda. A motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider approval of the minutes from the last meeting. A motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. To approve the claims. You guys have a chance to look them over?
Yep.
I did, and I had several questions, and they were all answered by staff, so I appreciate their help in that.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve, Charlie.
Second.
Mike, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chris, you're up.
Right away.
Morning.
Oh, yeah.
Put you at the bottom of the list.
I moved up. I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay, a couple of things, and we'll go through the difficult stuff first. First thing, I had a request from the Harrison County REC. They would like to have a right-of-way permit to bore a line under 1600th. Where this is at, it's in the west part of the county by what used to be Beach Road. It was a dirt road that went south, and that was abandoned, I believe, 2 years ago. And there's poles that run through that field, and the farmer would like them buried, so they're going to bury the line and need to bury under our existing roadways. So pretty straightforward. I have all their information, and like I said, it won't affect. It affects that landowner, but since it was a right-of-way prior, their easement still carries through once we abandon that. So I have all the information from them per the policy, and we should be good. I don't know. I do have a map if you want to see it or have any questions. The line runs up here, and it'll just shoot under the corner, so pretty standard. Shouldn't be anything we haven't done before.
Board in.
Yeah, it'll be bored.
Okay, motion to approve the right-of-way permit for Harrison County REC.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Second, we had our fuel letting that I requested last, I believe it's the first board meeting of the year. Bids were due this morning by 8:30. We only had one bidder respond this year, which is unusual, and that was Agriland from Harlan. I will give you all the results of that. We are pretty close to last year's bid. I didn't copy those down, but overall on the total, I think we're 18,000 less than last year. So a little bit of a decrease, but not a whole lot. Contract diesel was just over $2.20 a gallon on the transport, and gasoline was $2.20, and diesel is $2.50. So pretty good prices, and we've had good luck in the past. So I think we did okay. So
Is that who the current contract is with?
yes.
Make a motion to approve Agriland.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, just a few general updates here. We are brushing. We took the excavator up in the northeast part of the county up with 18. There's a fence row that had a lot of trees grown up in it. They split both sides, so we're up there removing all those. It'll help us out, unshade the road, hopefully. In the spring, it always stayed damp. Just couldn't get rid of the snow. So we're trying to do that right now. Other than that, we've been servicing equipment, just preparing for the summer season, trying to get shop things or anything we can get done when it's been cold, get that done and get them ready to go. It sounds like the temperature's supposed to warm up again.
That's okay,
So,
good.
that'll be good. And we'll see what it does. Maybe we can have an early start again this year. I know last year we did, so.
Chance of snow tomorrow.
Why'd you tell me that? I don't need to know that. Let's hope not. Trevor, my assistant engineer, is beginning his classes for construction inspection, so he'll be out of the office between Boone and Atlantic here for quite a while within the next few weeks. Get him trained and ready to go. We do have our M16 pavement that's scheduled to let here the first part of February, so.
How long is that training?
For Trevor, he has 4 different classes. One's a day, one's 3 days. Another one is 5 days, and the other one is 4 or 5 days. So
Okay.
pretty extensive deal, and it's always in the spring when construction time is down. So
2 to 3 weeks.
yeah. It's a lot of information in a short time, but he'll do fine. So I think he'll be excited to see some of that, and we get to a project that'll get a little more hands-on experience too. So
Help you out greatly.
it will. Just it'll be different this year. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to have him, and he's doing well.
Good.
The last thing I have, I was told yesterday that counties in Iowa are going after another federal highway grant again for some projects. I know Bryce and Charlie, you probably both know, but there were 2 old bridges on Linden or Old 59 that were removed and replaced with culverts. This would be the same idea. Projects are bundled together with counties. I submitted one earlier, and I was called yesterday, and we did make it as Shelby County into the final package, whatever that means. We still don't know if we'll receive the funding, but I applied for a culvert under F-24 that's right west of M36 on the Irwin Highway.
Oh, sure.
Has some pretty good issues going on with it that it's had for a while, so if we can get some funding from that, it sounds like it would be a 20% match we would pay, and then 80% would come from federal money, so.
It's a very deep hole.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and the structure has, like I said, the structure has issues, so it would be something worthwhile, and
Yeah.
if we can get some funding for it, we'll try it, so.
A little bit helps.
Yeah, so we'll see going forward what happens, but just want to tell you, we did make it into that submission, and there will be a little cost with that for the grant writing. The state or the Association of Counties takes care of all that as far as they have an engineering firm hired to compile everything, but throughout the counties, the cost of that will be divided out, so I will have a little cost into that, but if we can still secure funding, it's worthwhile. So
Excellent.
that's what I have for this morning. Do you have any questions or any other good news about snow?
That spot where you're brushing, we moved in there 20-some years ago to cut those trees, and the neighbor lady threatened us with a shotgun. So we promptly left.
I see.
We haven't touched it, or she passed, so,
Well,
yeah.
that would have been an exciting
Yeah.
morning. She was very adamant about her trees, I
Yeah, she
guess.
loved those trees.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, Austin.
I'll start with my quarterly report.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get the committee reports, you're fine. Yeah. Any committee reports, Mike?
I attended the 2-day ISAC training for new supervisors, sheriffs, auditors, all those positions, and came home with a lot of questions, and also instilled in my mind that Shelby County seems to have a very good staff, and all its elected positions are in good shape. So a lot of those counties have a lot of turmoil within, and I don't sense that here. So
A lot of them look at us.
yeah, a lot of information, and obviously some things I think we can do a little bit better, but did a good job as far as I could tell.
I also attended the conference Mike was at, and yeah, tons of training, lots of topics, and really good refresher. So,
I haven't had any meetings. West Central meeting tonight and SWIPCO Thursday, so those are my upcoming meetings.
okay. All right, Austin, now you're up.
Yeah, I'll just go with the quarterly report first. In the past couple months or so, we've been working, I guess as a Department of One, have been working on our backup redundancy. So we've had backups for as long as I've been here anyway, and I've just been working on making them redundant, as in copying them to multiple devices so that if anything were to happen, the building were to burn down, we have copies in a different building and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just building out the redundancy with the extra hardware that we have I say laying around, but it's just unused equipment at this point. So just kind of using our resources that have already been purchased for the county to help with that. And that's been going pretty well, making me feel a little bit better about any type of disaster that were to happen. We would still hold our information here and have everything good to go, depending on what would happen to which building. So other than that, we have a project that's on the horizon of completion for the sheriff's office and the jail. We're developing a web plugin that will help us see every jail inmate and then their information about them, so what their charges were, how many times they've been in jail, what for, basically anything about that inmate. And that's getting put on our website, so the public will be able to see all that stuff, which I think, in my opinion, would be great for the public to know that kind of stuff. They deserve to see it, and it's public knowledge anyway. It just kind of reduces their need to have to go dig for the information on Iowa court. So that should be getting published here pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. Cybersecurity awareness training, we just published this on the 1st. I published it on the 1st for everyone to complete for the county, which is a requirement by our insurance to have everybody complete 100%. So if you are from the county and you're listening, please get that done by hopefully the end of the month. Server rack maintenance is another thing I've been working on. When I got here, our server racks were completely full of gear that was unused. I spoke about the unused equipment before. A bunch of unused equipment, which is outdated for primary use, but is definitely good for a backup. So I've just been kind of ripping stuff out and repurposing it for backup uses. I guess redundancy backup uses. Our primary backup is still a very, very viable option for primary use. So the server rack maintenance, basically just making it look nice, making everything all more efficient for cooling and whatnot, and just making it look presentable as well, because that is always important to me. And then planning for next year. So there's a few projects that we're looking at doing for next year that take a lot of digging and trying and reaching out to other people from other counties and making sure that we're going to go with the right solution, because it will be something we'll have to go with for the next couple of years. So doing my due diligence there for all of the server stuff. So that is something that we're looking at there, and that's kind of, I guess we also completed a door system for the sheriff's office. We hired a company out of Carroll to do that for us. It's going really well so far. It's a lot more easy for the sheriff's office and the EMA guys to use. They don't have to have their fobs on them at all times. They can just use their hands to wave in. I think a few of you have experienced it before. It's the same one that we have at the school here in town, so it's been going pretty well. But that's about been my last 3 or 4 months or so. So that's what I've been doing as a one-man shop. Onto the website proposal. So that is one thing I was looking at. Is our website. I've gotten multiple complaints over the past 18 months that I've been here about the company that's currently doing it. They're not doing enough. They're not living up to their promises on what they've said they were going to do for the website. Most of the information's there, but again, we don't have a service contract with them, so there's no obligated time that we have to be with them. But that does create issues when we want something done, because it's all at cost. There's no maintenance agreement where they just do it within that maintenance period. So we're looking at this other company that I was recommended to by the Iowa Counties IT Association that highly recommended. They have 29 out of the 99 counties under their website, design, hosting, everything like that. And I've heard nothing but good things. I've never heard a bad thing about this company. And I met them in person at a few of our get-togethers over in Des Moines with the county IT folk, and they're really nice people. It's a small business still, run by one person, and they've got like a 10-man shop that that's their primary thing, is they do county websites. So the nice part about that is they do a lot of stuff that they just copy and paste to other counties. So if there's a county over on the east side of Iowa and we see something on their website that they have that we want, we just basically tell them and they slap it on our website. They have tons of tools that we can use, which are built for counties, so I think it'll be a good option for us. And as well as the maintenance cost, I already have the maintenance cost built into our budget So that will mitigate any type of work that we need done, having extra costs there, so we know exactly what flat rate we're gonna do. So that'll help with budgetary purposes and us not overspending on any type of website costs. And then one other issue with our current vendor was the security of the website. About 6 months ago, I discovered that we were way behind on our security updates for our website host. So I kind of reached out about that, and they said, yeah, well, you guys didn't want to pay for it back in the day, so we kind of just left it alone. So they kind of let us kind of fall to the wayside security-wise because we allegedly didn't want to pay for it. I wasn't here, so I don't know exactly what happened, but that was another issue, was the security, and they weren't looking out for the best of our security needs, I suppose. In which this company that we are looking to go to, they are rigorously tested by the county people, because we have people in-house within the county IT space that will go in and they'll test websites day in and day out and have things set up so that we can actually get our security up to par, and they do a really good job at that.
Austin, before you move on,
Yeah.
off the top of your head, do you know of a county that we can go look at their website just to see?
Marion County. They're a larger county. I'd have to look to see if there's any counties that are our size, but that would be a good one to start with. They're again a little bit larger, so it's going to be a little bit more robust, but it'll get the idea across. And then if we do decide to go with this company, they will spend 3 or 4 days in our county. They'll meet with all the department heads, and they will make sure that all of their needs are met. They'll look at other county websites and say, hey, what do you like about this page? What do you want to add? What do you like? What do you don't like? Do you have any ideas that you want to maybe implement? So, and 9 times out of 10, they said there already is something built that they could just basically add it to it.
How much do we currently spend on our website?
It's $2,000 is budgeted, but I try to just kind of not have them do things.
Okay.
Just because it's a little bit cheaper and I don't want to kind of go over that, so.
Okay.
But yeah, $2,000 is already budgeted, so that annual maintenance cost is already kind of in there, so there's really it's just the upfront cost that we have to worry about. And I have spoke with the EMA director, and he stated that he would help with 25% of the cost. It's going to be split over the fiscal year, this year and next year, so it's not going to be a complete, $20,000 in 1 year. So it'll be 25%. So he's gonna spend about $5,000 out of the $20,000.
Okay.
And then IT will cover the rest of the maintenance costs.
Okay.
But I'm just looking for the board approval for this to happen. I've spoken with many of the department heads in there. Most of them are on board, if not all. I didn't speak to every one of the department heads, but I think I got a pretty good consensus of what we want to do.
Motion to approve.
So, there's no action item, but if it's within his budget, he doesn't need approval.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted
Yeah.
to courtesy up here because it is a little bit of a steep price there.
Yeah, as long as you have the dollars figured out.
And you shopped around enough to know that this is
Yeah.
kind of the one
Yeah.
we need to have.
Any other questions, guys?
Doing a good job.
Thank you.
Hopefully it works out better than this last one.
I hope so.
Yeah. And the training's great. I mean, it's
Good,
a
good.
really
I'm
good
glad.
refresher,
I'm
you know?
glad
It
everybody likes
doesn't
that.
take long. For those
Right.
those listening that haven't done it yet. It doesn't take-
Yeah, no, but it's a good reminder.
Yeah, I've heard good reviews about it, so. I'm
I
glad
didn't know
it
there
is.
was a fishing button, so.
Is that an every year training?
Yes, annual. It's
Because I did it right in December, right when I was.
Oh, gotcha, so you
Come on,
did it-
I got
did it
another
again.
notice about 2 weeks later that I have to do this training, so I just did that. So I got a double whammy.
annual insurance requirement by the state.
One other quick question.
Yeah.
On the backup redundancy, do we
Yeah.
have, is at least one of those backups not connected to the county servers at all, so it's completely?
Yes, so we have cloud
It's
servers
like-
available it's technically an Amazon server,
Okay.
but it's all in the government space, so there's lots of extra security around those. But we do have all of our backups copying up to the cloud, if you want to call it that. But yes, we have some that are completely out of this county.
Is there a way to get conservation stuff backed up by our?
Yes, I have that done now. I previously was aware, or I thought that they were already backed up, but that wasn't the case. But
Okay.
it seems that every single laptop that they touch has gone to
Yeah. Yeah.
gone to pieces, so.
We're having bad luck, yeah, so.
I was able to get Curtis's information back, but I think he's on paternity leave now, so. I
Yeah,
couldn't-
Probably take them out there in the weeds and the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, that's good. I
Yeah,
know they were
yeah.
having issues, so
You still
appreciate
need
it.
a Motion or anything on this?
No.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Austin.
Thanks.
All right, Carolyn. Is she here?
There she is.
Good morning.
Stealth mode out there.
I seen somebody look just like you.
Just a little bit ago, we were, in my office, we were hard at work, weren't we, Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing we will do is I will give you the semi-annual report. Take one of those and pass it around. So this treasurer's semi-annual report, I present this to the board every 6 months, obviously. And what I have done this time, just so that you have a little bit of a comparison, the top one is the most current one, and I am certifying to you the amount that's highlighted there on the back of that first page that the treasurer's office has balanced to that figure. The second sheet is just for your informational purposes only. It's last year for this same time period, July 1st through December 31st. Just so that you can have a comparison of those two different amounts. I didn't see anything that really stands out. As you'll see this year, the bottom line is a little bit higher. But then again, that doesn't take into consideration like any outstanding claims like what you just approved today, which was close to, I think, $900,000. So, but I looked at, and I don't control each individual department fund there, but I didn't see anything that really stood out more or less. Sometimes, like in the past, we've had, like ARPA funds were high in 1 year compared to next year. That would explain some of the differences in the balances. But with each fund here, I didn't see anything that stood out just higher or lower than the same
Pretty
time
even
period.
across the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a little bit here and there, which it doesn't take a whole lot from each one of those multiple funds to add up to explain that difference. So it just depends on the department has used their money and had a claim or not. But any questions on that?
Nope.
Yes.
I'll motion to approve the quarterly report.
Second.
Or
Mike, second.
semi-annual report.
Semi-annual report.
Semi-annual.
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then just as a quarterly department, if you could take one of those as well and pass it around. I present this to the board every year. This is just what we've taken in for the treasurer's office for motor vehicle and driver's license. Likewise, I've given the comparison. First page is, of course, this last year, 2024. Second page is last year's. So as you can see, we've made, again, another increase in what we've taken in and what the county keeps and what the state gets for those different areas. The first, on the left side of that spreadsheet there, is what goes to the state. The right side with the middle column empty is what the county gets to keep. And then there's just a few little odds and ends, what we've spent on postage. But just keep in mind that we do recoup a lot of that postage because of motor vehicle registrations. The customer pays for the postage on that. And then, just what we take in for civil penalties and such. And that's just $5 if someone has to pay a civil penalty in our office, so it doesn't really add up very fast. But overall, those are the numbers that we keep track of monthly, and then, of course, overall. So that's just for your informational purposes.
Where's the increase coming from?
Well, as you can see, each line item, a lot of that is the use tax, so motor vehicle sales, the sales tax on vehicles. We keep a small percentage of that. In fact, I did bring that down because there's going to be a change. So currently, on what you're reading there, 4% of the total collection of each annual or semi-annual vehicle registration and each duplicate registration is what the county gets to keep. We get $2.50 from each fee collected for certificate of title. So during this time period, title to a vehicle costs $25. We get $2.50 of that. The state gets the rest. And then $1 for each fee for new registration, which is sales tax. So it takes a lot to build that up. So we are, when you take into consideration the number of transactions that we do, it takes quite a bit to build up to those amounts that you're seeing there. Something that has changed this year then, during the 2024 legislative session, there's some changes that will affect transactions performed by county treasurers beginning January 1st, so here just a few weeks ago, that allows certain vehicle transactions to be processed in any county and increases some fees. So prior to this, contiguous counties, so like anybody, even Carroll, who just touches us on a little corner, Carroll County residents could come here to Shelby County for their motor vehicle transactions. Likewise, Cass County and all of our neighbor, Harrison County, and everybody that neighbors us, Crawford, could come here. Now, with this new legislation that's changed, that went into effect January 1st, you can go anywhere in the state to do some of your motor vehicle transactions. So I anticipate, and eventually, once the word gets out, an influx in our customer traffic with motor vehicle transactions, because as I've mentioned in the past, we get a lot of people that come here from Potawatomi County to do their driver's license. So the only caveat to that is that if we do their motor vehicle transactions here, then they are issued Shelby County plates, whether or not that makes a difference to them. They can always get it replaced later on down in Potawatomi County, for example, for an extra $5, but they would be issued Shelby County plates. So some of the transactions that can be processed in any county include regular title transfers, replacement titles, dealer titles, notation and cancellation of security interest, which means lien fees, non-transferable registration, salvage titles, and junking certificates. So we're all learning new forms because the DOT, this has been a work in progress. The DOT is had to revise their forms to make this work for contiguous and now titles that can be processed in any county. Most notably, and you'll see an increase next year, so I anticipate the bottom line of our numbers being quite higher next year because the title fees increased from $25 to $35, so $10 increase there. Lien fees increased from $10 to $20, another $10. And the fee for new registration, meaning sales tax, increased from 5%, which is still pretty amazing that vehicle sales tax is only 5%. And it's been that way for decades. It increased to 5% plus $10. So any title transfer that includes tax. And this is what you guys need to know because this will affect our budget in a positive way, is that the county gets to keep each of these $10 increases. So taking into consideration how many titles we do, which I'll go over that at budget time, $1,000 times 10 just on issuing titles, for example, is a huge increase for us and for our office. So that was a huge push and a big pat on the back for the Treasurers Association to get that to go through. A couple other things just in our office. Just want to remind the public and everyone that the Real ID does go into effect this year. Haven't heard anything about that being put off yet again. It has been in the past. Put off, COVID kind of took care of that. But for those that don't know about the Real ID, it was enacted, an act enacted in the because of 9/11, and it affects those people who are boarding aircraft, federally regulated commercial aircraft, federal facilities. Don't have to have it to come into the courthouse, but federal buildings you do have. And this is because of the Department of Homeland Security is the one that has integrated this. We have been educating all of our customers for many, many years on this and trying to get them to get this Real ID so that they're not caught in a pinch if they need to board an aircraft and they don't have it because it's not immediate. So just a little bit of statistics. I did request from the Iowa DOT here a few weeks ago where we are at as a whole in Iowa, where we're at for Shelby County, and then how we compare to other states. I didn't get all that information. What I did get from the Iowa DOT is, as of December 2024, 73.5% of Iowa driver's licenses and IDs are Real ID compliant. Shelby County has apparently set the bar for that because, like I said, we have been educating our customers on that. And yes, it does take some time, and it does take them to bring in the documents that they need, but it's, like I said, it's important, and if they have to jump on an airplane in an emergency situation and they don't have it, they're not going anywhere. So we want to make sure that they're at least aware. So Shelby County,
Does that include cruises, or is that different?
if you're getting on an airplane, if you're getting on just a ship, if you drove down and you're going to get on a ship, then I think your passport would work for that. But, I can't speak for that, but.
I've never been on one, so.
But you would have to have a passport anyway for going out of the country, so this is different. And a passport can be used instead of this, but we want those people who are just flying within the United States and jumping on a plane or going to a federal building, or even military bases are another place where you have to have that, so.
Tammy's ears just perked up.
What's that?
Said Tammy's ears just
Where you cried when
So Shelby County, like I mentioned, 73.5% of Iowa driver's licenses are Real ID compliant. Shelby County has apparently boosted those numbers because we are 85.51% compliant here in Shelby County. So, and a lot of those people, maybe they just don't need it, don't want it, don't think they'll ever have to have it. So of that, just a little bit of a percentage, they're less than 15%. People have at least hopefully been told and recognize the fact whether or not they need it. So data from TSA checkpoints show that 8 out of 10 Iowans traveling domestically already possess the Real ID. So I feel like we're in good shape, but that does go into effect May 7th, 2025. Also in my office, I have one of my staff members leaving this afternoon and attending DOT training to become a certified drive examiner. We already have one in our office that's certified. We're getting a second one just for cross-training purposes and just having a backup.
Great.
That's a good idea.
In the past couple of years, it's become more prevalent that we have more drives on a regular basis. That does take somebody out of our office pretty much for the entire day with doing drives. Each drive takes approximately an hour, so there's a definite need for it, especially since there's become the parent-taught driver's education. Then parents can teach their kids driver's ed, but the end result is that they have to come to our office and do a drive and pass that with our drive examiner. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 times to accomplish that. So having a backup person and a secondary person, we'll revisit whether or not whether we can schedule enough to get a second person out of the office if we start getting backed up, weeks out and such, but it does take a person out of the office, so.
It helps during vacation or sick.
Exactly, yeah.
Good.
So she's attending those classes down at the DOT station in Ankeny this week to become that. Other than that, I'm just busy working on some year-end reports within the office, and then also doing the 1099 interest forms for the tax sale investors that have to be sent out at the end of this month, and just working on everything like that. Any questions about any of those topics or anything else?
No, appreciate your update.
Okay, you
Thanks,
bet.
Carolyn.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Neil, you're up.
Morning.
Morning.
Neil?
How you doing today?
Come on out.
How are you?
Good. First thing I had was just a discussion item for building and grounds. More or less just to bring it to our attention, something that I'm going to continue to look at for a fix, but we have downspouts that are tied to our parking lot, and we've got that slow parking lot. It's been an issue for years. When we've talked about it, we just haven't really made a fix to it. So I'm going to look at some different options that we can do to fix it, but we have some ice that as it comes out and it melts and then it freezes again. We currently have it coned off, so we don't have any slip strips or falls out there.
Is that where the person slipped and fell?
Yes.
Just recently?
Yep.
Okay.
We had another slip not long ago. It was one of our employees. I've gone down probably 3 or 4 times over the years, and you can count through the office probably everybody.
Yeah, it's
else
pretty
has.
dangerous.
It's just been an ongoing problem. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, let you know that I am looking at it. We currently have it coned off until we can get some sort of melt. Might be a few days, but when it melts, we'll open it back up, and then when it ices, we'll probably just cone it off again. But there's a couple spots there that we're just gonna try to prevent any further slips or drips. So we do have some cones set up. If you drive by and see it, I just wanted you to be aware of that. Second one is kind of a two-piece deal. I was just talking with Austin. I was looking at our opioid funding from the state, and last I looked, it looked like it hadn't been used a whole lot this year. Last year I asked for a little bit of money. I did not ask for it this year in my budget. But I was going to come in and basically request that I could use a little bit of that opioid money that's sitting there. I would like to put it's called a license plate reader, an LPR camera. I'm meeting with Shelby City Council tonight. I'd like to put one on the main street in Shelby. I spoke with Austin. I just need a Wi-Fi connection. The City Hall would be more than welcome to give that to me. They're right there on Main Street in Shelby. So basically what it does is it captures photos of your license plates, and it puts those in a database. So if I ever need to go back and look, I can go back and see who all come down the main drag. We had a pretty severe scam case down there probably about a month ago now. If we'd have had it down there, which we had talked about, it was just funding a couple of years ago, we never did it. I probably could have solved that case pretty quick. Could have went back and figured out what plate was in town and go from there. But it also works for all sorts of things, drug-related stuff, which is why I'm tying this back to opioid, our investigations. It helps out with that. I currently have one on the ambulance building, and we utilized it several times to watch Cyclone, certain vehicles that go up and down. It does not tie to a database, so it's not the expensive ones that are running plates every day. It's just categorizing them, and if there's plates of interest that we have, it keeps them. It does tell us if we put them in there. So those are between $4,000 and $5,000 for one of those cameras. Last I looked, I thought there was about $41,000 in opioid funds we had to use this year, or we basically have to use it so they fill it every year. So I'm asking, I guess, for an action item on that to be approved to go ahead and work with Taryn on the exact dollar amount, because I think it probably did go up. I think I got like $3,800 was my last one. I think it's a little higher than that this year. The next thing is Austin and I had to purchase a firewall for the sheriff's office. And he was talking about the ICN connection went down. We had a backup, but we didn't really have a backup because it didn't have a firewall for it. So we went ahead and made a true backup, and we did purchase a firewall. At the time, we were down for about 8 to 10 days for internet within the jail, dispatch, sheriff's office. We were using Verizon wireless pucks to run our dispatch center. It wasn't great, but we were finding a workaround, so we did just go ahead and purchase it, and we got the bill for the firewall, and it was just over $8,000. We were going to try to split it between agencies, but I was speaking with Austin, and I was telling him, we use that to run criminal backgrounds, we use that to run our jail database, we use the internet to run all of our sheriff's office investigations. I think that would tie into the opioid funds, so it wouldn't have to hurt county taxpayer dollars. I think we could pay off that firewall with opioid money as well. Everything we use the internet for is part of the investigation within our office. So
sounds like a good place for it.
Yeah, so I was just coming in, going to talk about that money a little bit, and I can work with Taryn to get that transferred over and maybe pay those two items off with opioid funds this year.
So when do we have to have the 41 spent by?
I think it's July 1.
July 1. So you got to find some more projects.
Yeah, and I'm not the only one asking for it. I don't want to take it all, but I have found a couple of places where I think it would be beneficial.
Okay, well, let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I would love to build the camera system out a little more, one in Elkhorn even, and just kind of, it's not invasive, it's more of a monitoring system. If we need it, we can go back.
That was going to be my question about privacy issues.
Yeah.
Any pushback from the public that you would expect from that?
No, because it's not running plates every day. And there's a lot of them that they have in cars. Now the troopers have them and stuff where they're running your plate every time you drive by.
It's already being done.
It's being done. Yeah, that's a public thing. You can run those constantly. This is more of just a database. If I have which I just did a storage unit burglary in Elkhorn at 2 a.m. in the morning, I can go back and find cameras that maybe see the vehicle, at gas stations and stuff, but I have no idea what that plate was in that car. This, I could go back and actually get that license plate, and we could have a better investigation. So,
great use of the money.
Yeah, I think it is too. But that was just what I wanted to bring up today for the opioid funding. And to spend that money, I do need an approval for that.
So, you asking for, like up to 15,000 or just what?
Yeah, that would cover all of it for sure. I'm just gonna do the Shelby camera and our firewall today is what I'm looking at.
So about 8 for the firewall and 4 to 5.
A motion to approve spending up to $15,000 for the license plate reading cameras
Yep, and our firewall.
and the firewall.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Charlie, second from Mike. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Appreciate it, guys. And then just a real short one here. I am currently full staff. Dalton Rucker, we just hired, just started yesterday with us. He was a cop up in Milford, up there by Okoboji. So he's certified. He's a go-getter. He's active. He just started with us yesterday. So I'll be bringing him around maybe next time we introduce him. So.
Does he
Yeah,
have
we're in
some,
shorts today coming down south.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
does he have some training to do?
He's got some FTO to do with us. Right now, that's looking anywhere between, so our field training officer program, we've got a certified field training officer. Those certified guys that have used a lot of the software we use, it's supposed to be a 16-week program. I expect him to be 4 to 8 weeks in the program, being as a certified officer that's already worked the road and been a part of a lot of the software we use. Hopefully it's shortened before he's out on his own working the road. So,
Very good.
Yep, he's from Milford, he's probably finding it dull down there.
yeah, maybe. He's from Dunlap area originally, so he is from the area and he's feeling like he's getting back home. So,
Good.
yeah. So hopefully we can hang on to him for a while.
Yeah.
So, other than that, don't have a lot of new stuff. So. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Neil. Any other department heads? No? Todd, did you want to jump in? I don't think we have you on the agenda, but
No, but I'll give you a quick update. Mostly a couple of just items taking place around town. It is National Blood Donor Month, so there's an active donation taking place today, and then tomorrow folks can go to St. Boniface Parish Center from 11 to 5 and make donations. But again, at this time of the year, it even becomes more important to make those donations because people don't get out and move around as much as they normally do. So, Faith Family Church, they're having a women's winter wellness program this Saturday at 8 a.m. And what this is a come and go program. They're going to have a lot of information on wellness. They're going to have information on healthy snacks. They'll have snacks, and it's just a way for them to be able to get some information out to the community about things that'll really help them with their wellness topics and hopefully get them ready for the summer to get out and move around then. Emmanuel Lutheran is having their 16th annual Abelskaver and Frikadeller feast on Saturday from 5 to 7, so that's always a wonderful meal to attend. Free will donations, and it goes towards their mission to Tanzania from the meal. And then finally, Tuesday, February 4th, Murtu's starting up a grief class every Tuesday from February 4th through March 11th. They run theirs in the morning from 9:30 to 11, and it's at the Murtu boardroom. Although there is no cost to attend, you do have to register by January 27th. You give Kathy Jensen a call at 755-4424 for that. And then finally, I'll just give you something that I'm just getting started with, but the Iowa Finance Authority, they put out a new tool, and as part of this tool, you can look at different aspects of your community. You can look at your demographics, you can look at a lot of different things. And one of the things it offers is not only being able to look at your current housing and break that down, but you can also do a housing forecast. Now, it doesn't have the data to allow me to do a housing forecast by community, but I could do one for Shelby County. And it's called Forecast 2030, so in the next 5 years. It says we should be looking to add 77 additional housing units, 58 single-family homes, and then 19 rental units. So, it gives us a place to start focusing on, and we've got some planning that's already taking place in other parts of the county, but we're far from planning 77 units right now, so we have to kind of pick up the pace there a little bit.
There's some interesting data in there. You sent that out.
Yeah, Yeah.
Interesting.
I really like it, I really do. And it's got some, the current homes, it breaks them down by age, by value, how we compare to, the rest of Iowa. And yeah, I really like that report too, so. All right. Well, that's it for me.
Thanks, Doug.
Next time.
All right, item 11, consider appointment of magistrate commissioner. Give information on that, Karen?
So it was brought down from the clerk of court's office. The previous person was Jane. And they had suggested Ashley Schleiss, who took over Jane's position at the city, be considered for this position. I'm not familiar with it, but I looked up what it was, and it looks like the magistrate appointing commission assists with the selection of the magistrates. And they have district court designates the chief judge of the judicial district, up to 3 non-lawyer members appointed by the board of supervisors, and up to 2 lawyers elected in the county. And so they have an open position.
And her name was, she put her
Ashley.
name. That's Ashley? Oh,
Yeah, Ashley is
want to
here.
come on up?
No.
So
This isn't under protest.
Okay.
You really want me to?
So, no, that's okay. Are you good with that?
Yep, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Yep, Taryn reached out.
okay.
Yep.
All right. So we just need an action item, or an action?
Motion approved.
Okay. Appoint Ashley Slice as the magistrate commissioner. Charlie made a motion,
I'll second.
Mike seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, congratulations. Okay. Item number 12, Resolution 2025-9 CO2 Pipeline Project Liaison. When we were talking about the committees we sit on, the pipeline came up and we were discussing who was going to take that monster on. And the thought came up, how about just keep Steve Kenkel on as the pipeline liaison for the board? And I guess today that's why we're bringing up this resolution. There's nobody probably in the state that has more knowledge on the pipeline than Steve. He's been
Right.
he's been the go-to guy for the whole state of Iowa. And we need to keep him in that position because, this is his baby. And anything else, guys?
Yeah, just in our conversations with Steve, and we'd just be ashamed to put that knowledge and I guess influence might be a word, just to put that on the shelf and not use it going forward until this pipeline deal is finished one way or the other.
Yep.
I mean, there will be a point where the counties have no more say in it, whether we don't need to or we don't get to.
Right.
I don't know which that is, but until that time, I can't think of a bigger issue that's more important to landowners in Shelby County. It's a very inexpensive way to get some expertise.
And the board has set aside some ARPA money to fight the pipeline, and that's where his salary will come from. So we'll have Taryn read the resolution, and then we'll get some comments from Steve. So,
It's a resolution declaring the intent to create the position of CO2 pipeline project liaison to help represent the county's interest in CO2 pipeline matters. And appoint Steve Kenkel to this position. Whereas the Shelby County Board of Supervisors has the authority under Iowa Code Section 331.3011 to exercise any power and perform any function it deems appropriate to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and property of the county or of its residents, and to preserve and improve the peace, safety, health, welfare, comfort, and convenience of its residents. Whereas the Shelby County Board of Supervisors recognizes the need for Shelby County to enlist the assistance of a liaison familiar with the county's involvement, role and interest in development of the CO2 pipeline, and to have continuity in the representation of the county on pipeline-related matters. Whereas Steve Kenkel has developed the experience and expertise on pipeline issues and has previously represented Shelby County's interest on CO2 pipeline matters while serving as a member of the Shelby County Board of Supervisors. And whereas Steve Kinkle's term as Board of Supervisors member has expired, whereas the County Board of Supervisors would like to continue to utilize Steve Kinkle's services to represent the county's best interests in CO2 pipeline matters. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shelby County Board of Supervisors that the Board of Supervisors hereby creates the position of CO2 Pipeline Project Liaison. This shall be a part-time, temporarily employee position. The hours of work shall be as needed and as determined by the Board of Supervisors. The position shall be paid $400 per month. The position shall also receive up to $100 per month for reimbursement of expenses in accordance with county reimbursement policies. The position will not be eligible for any other benefits such as health insurance or leave benefits. Essential functions of the CO2 Pipeline Project Liaison include, but are not limited to, knowledge of the proposed CO2 pipeline project, represent Shelby County's interests related to the proposed CO2 pipeline project running through western Iowa, keep abreast of projects and legal developments through communication with pipeline officials, attorneys, and other local and state officials, attend relevant project meetings when practical, and report regularly to the Board of Supervisors during regular meetings and more frequently as needed. Steve Kinkle shall be appointed to the CO2 Pipeline Project Liaison position.
Okay. Any other comments? Steve, do you have any comments?
Thank you, I'm very willing to do that. I appreciate your confidence and support, me moving forward with that. I guess a couple questions. Do you want me, and I'll do whatever you guys ask, do you want me at every meeting? Do you want me to keep in touch with Bryce as needed basis when I need your input? And if you don't want me at every meeting, as things come up, I would email out a update.
As you see it needed, as information comes that you need to pass along to the public.
Okay.
You know. So.
Okay. It won't change much of what I was doing before. And just want to let you know, presently, I'm working on a map of Shelby County where if there were a rupture, the residents that would be impacted and animal confinements. But I'm having a hard time getting the exact footage for kill zones and things like that, as you can imagine. And I want to be as adequate as possible. So once I get that, I'm working with another person on that. And then also just kind of as an update, there are several bills that we've been working on that are going to be introduced here, legislative session. As they get introduced, then I will be meeting with legislators, trying to educate them and trying to move these bills forward. And then also I ask if you guys and Karen get anything from ISAC that they're having meetings or updates related to the pipeline, would you forward them on to me so I can attend those?
Certainly.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise it'd pretty much be business as usual, working with Mr. Whipple, and then getting back to you guys. I see the legislative thing being the busiest thing right now. And I also but for quite some time now, we have weekly Zoom meetings with a group of pipeline people. And so I will continue to be a part of that. I have even since I've been off the board. So,
all right.
Is there anything else you guys would like to see?
Appreciate your willingness to do it, and we know you're passionate about it, and I think this is a very inexpensive way to have our voice. Shelby
Yeah,
County
I
have a
appreciate
voice
you
at the
just
table.
allowing me to get my expenses covered. That's the biggest thing. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve resolution 2025-9?
Motion.
And second?
Motion from Charlie, second from Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Next up is the ambulance. Something Steve was working with Barry Jacobson on at the hospital before he left was an ambulance service agreement. The hospital has a levy that they can use for ambulance. And we basically put it on paper what we expect from them, or what they're willing to give from us from that levy. They're gonna keep the levy going until June of 2030. And each year give, well, the first year 100,000, 26, 105,000, 2027, 110,000, 2028, 115,000, and then 2029, 120,000. And basically, we're gonna try to use this to update our ambulances. So, I know our ambulances right now are getting very tired, lots of maintenance, trying to milk them by. So this will help greatly. I suppose, Taryn, you want to read this resolution too?
This is the ambulance service agreement.
Yeah.
This agreement is made and entered into between Shelby County, hereinafter referred to as the county, and Shelby County Chris A. Murtry Memorial Hospital, doing business as Murtry Medical Center, hereinafter referred to as hospital. The hospital will provide funding to support and supplement ambulance services effective July 1, 2025, with annual payments paid by hospital to the county as follows. July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026, $100,000. July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027, $105,000. July 1, 2027 to June 30, 2028, $110,000. July 1, 2028 to June 30, 2029, $115,000. July 1, 2029 to June 30, 2030, $120,000. Semi-annual payment of half of the annual agreed upon amount will be paid in July and January of the contract year. Funding provided by the hospital will be used to provide funding for the replacement of ambulances or other ambulance-related purposes as identified by the Board of Supervisors. The county ambulance service will make inter-facility transfers from Murtry Medical Center a priority by staffing a paramedic team for transfers 24 hours per day. Shelby County Ambulance Service will comply with all regulatory requirements and maintain up-to-date policies, procedures, and compliance reports. Either party can terminate this agreement with 365 days written notice to the other party. Semi-annual payments above will be prorated and paid through the effective date of termination. Agreed upon payments set forth above after the effective date of termination shall be null and void.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
No.
I think this is a pretty solid agreement. Thanks, Steve, for the legwork on that.
Yep.
So beyond 2030, then do we just shift those levy dollars from the hospital to?
Their levy, they can do what they want, but I think they can just
They can
eliminate
continue
it
on
or
after that.
continue on after that.
Okay, so this is
That's
just
My
just-
understanding was that levy's not gonna leave in 2030. This is just a 5-year agreement,
Okay.
and then it would be renegotiated. at that time.
Renegotiated.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That was
Very
my
good.
understanding of it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion to approve the ambulance service agreement?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Okay, consider approval of board or building and grounds use application, Roaring to Harlan. Taryn?
This application was brought in for the Roaring to Harlan that they do starting in May and running through August. They just ask for use of the grounds. It's going to be on the north and east side. And this is for the motorcycle and car show. The city and chamber support. They'll also be using the west parking lot. But most of the activity will be in the street and on the sidewalks. So they just want approval from the board.
And this has been how long has this been going on, 5, 6 years?
This has been annual since I came here 10 years ago.
Okay.
Mike Woolheader Senior used to run it, and then it's been, taken over by others since then. And yeah, the chamber provides liability insurance for the event. The city supports it. They let them barricade off streets and things for the event. It's a once-a-month event, so yeah, and I've never heard any complaints about the event at all. I think it goes over really well every year.
We haven't had any issues in courthouse property.
Not that I know.
That'd be my one concern, as long as they keep it cleaned up, and we haven't had that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Motion to approve the building and grounds agreement for Roaring to Harlan.
Motion.
Second?
Motion from Charlie, second from Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This time we're going to recess the meeting to go into budget workshops. So, thank you all.
Thank you.